Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome again to my YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube. I say again, welcome to my YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube, and also welcome to my Snacks 123 channel on Rumble. I say again, welcome to my Snacks 123 channel on Rumble. And today, covering some military content and following up. I guess you can call this a series. Last video I did, matter of fact, not the last video, the one prior to that. I know I did the VA VASH program, but I also did the unfavorable information file and the control roster. And so this right here is a continuation of that. I talked about in the military how they have the Uniform Code of Military Justice and how that is the military law that is based off of the Constitution, the United States Constitution, and it governs all military members regardless of where they're located at, whether it's foreign or either domestic. And Article 15 is part of those tools. Now, what is the Article 15? Basically, in Article 15, it is non-judicial punishment. Now, when I talk about it being non-judicial punishment, basically this right here is it's a flexible tool of punishment that a commander can use, to discipline and mete out, punishments, that do not require a court martial. Judicial punishment is where the military member has to go, just like in a court of law, where they have to go before a military judge and a tribunal and a panel. And depending on the outcome of that particular case, if the military member loses the case, then they will face court martial, and if they win, then they're clear, scot and free. And so basically, obviously, like a civilian court, they have a lawyer, they have representation, you have your prosecution, and you have your defense. But Article 15 is something that a commander can use, where to measure out any discipline or punishment so that it doesn't warrant, say, a court martial. Now, let's go through this, guys. Okay, non-judicial punishment is a military justice option that's available to commanders. It permits and allows commanders to resolve allegations of minor misconduct, against a military member without having to resort to the higher levels, of discipline, such as a court martial. Okay, the decision to impose in Article 15 is completely at the commander's discretion. Okay, now. The military member does, have rights, as they are represented, saying the same as any American member or United States citizen under the United States Constitution, which the Uniform Code of Military Justice is built off of, okay? So they can refuse in Article 15 and instead demand a trial by court martial. You see what I'm saying? So the military member, does have rights, and options may not be many, but it basically, if you choose not to take an Article 15, then you have to, so you're taking a risk, and if you think you can beat the case, then you can go to a military court and face, court martial if you lose. If you don't lose, then you win the case, scot-free. Like I said, most people normally, I guess with under military counsel, most people will probably take the Article 15, not unless they are absolutely sure that they got an excellent shot, at beating the case in a court martial, But all right, let's see now. If the military member accepts the Article 15, is it an admission of guilt? Obviously, according to what the rules are on paper, they say no, it's not admitting guilt. But I'm gonna just keep it real off the record. Um, Off the record, you know what I'm saying. If you accept it, it's really like a death sentence. It's like you saying, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I did it because um, they raised the stakes so high on the military member that it's that okay. Would you rather take this Article 15, up front and get it over with, and then it can come off your record in maybe 6 months, or it could come off earlier, or maybe a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? And you just deal, with the temporary consequences, and after that, you just roll on. You know what I'm saying, with life, or do you think you bad enough? You know what I'm saying? Do you think you can beat the case? You see what I'm saying? Now, where the pressure comes in is that in most cases, they gonna favor the commander. You see what I'm saying? That's how it's normally gonna go. If it goes officer against enlisted, the military, like anything else, you know what I'm saying? It does have its bureaucracy, so they set it up in a certain way. Now on paper it's not supposed to be rigged, but in reality, you know how the system is work. Certain individuals are going to have more leverage and have the advantage. So it's kind of like if on a civilian side, it would be like cops trying to talk somebody into a plea deal. You know what I'm saying? Cop a plea deal. You see what I'm saying? And even though the defendant may not have done any of the crimes, and they might be right. You see what I'm saying? But by the time they work on them psychologically and work the system against them and try to wear the person down, they get them, what I'm saying, to take a plea deal. Now, in some cases, if the defendant is wrong and maybe they didn't do everything, but they may have done some things, well, if you rat, what I'm saying, some people out, or if you cop a plea deal and take this, what I'm saying, we'll give you less time. But in Article 15, it's kind of like, kind of similar, what I'm saying, where they kind of got you pigeonholed. And so if you refuse to take it, they raise the stakes so high, it's like going on the roulette table, and putting your career on the line, because if you lose that court martial, you can kiss it goodbye. You know what I'm saying? So they intentionally do that, what I'm saying, to where it'll make the defendant, the military member that's a defendant, to make them think twice about going before a tribunal, what I'm saying, in the military court to challenge it. You see what I'm saying? So they make it real high, so it puts the pressure, on them, and psychologically, a lot of people they give it just be like, let me take the Article 15 because they basically trying to outweigh what do you call it? It's like a risk analysis. You know what I'm saying? It's I forgot the correct word I'm looking for, but say they analyze what the options are and what the situation is, and if they do that SWOT analysis, you know what I'm saying, and they figure, hey, my chances ain't too good, and some military lawyers, what I'm saying, are really sharp and they're really good, and some of them flat out, what I'm saying, they're not so good, what I'm saying. Depends how much experience they got and how well they know the law and how well they know the military law, what I'm saying. But if it's like for something like if it's misdemeanor, it's recommended just to get it over with and just take the Article 15. And the reason why I'm going through this and explaining this, for those that are in the military, sometimes you never know when you may come across a case like this and you may want to challenge it. So for those of you that's in, it may be helpful information. And for those of you that are considering coming in, to the armed forces, this right here is just a heads up. So just like on the outside, you got to know your rights. In the military, you have to know, your rights also. Now, does the military have more control over the service members? Sure they do. But under the Constitution of the United States, and which the Uniform Code of Military Justice is written off of, is subject to, military members still, have the same rights as any other U.S. citizen and when they are even dealing inside the armed forces with military law, they still have rights. So know, you know what I'm saying, what the military law is, UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice, and know your rights. So that way you don't get taken advantage of. You know, and sometimes you may have to tell your lawyer, look here, you know what I'm saying, nah, you know what I'm saying, I'm not copping this. I'm not taking this Article 15, you know, it doesn't warrant it, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it's justified. So, you know, sometimes you got to stand your ground. But, you know, if you do, it's like, hey, you raising the stakes, you know what I'm saying, going against your commander. But sometimes commanders, you know what I'm saying, are wrong. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes leadership, you know what I'm saying, is wrong. And sometimes you got to have enough guts, you know, to stand your ground against, you know what I'm saying, your leadership. You know what I'm saying? You, even in the military, you cannot be a punk, you know what I'm saying, or a coward, you know what I'm saying? You gotta stand 10 toes down. Now granted, you gotta pick your battles, you know what I'm saying? You gotta pick your battles, but at the same token, you cannot let, you know what I'm saying, your leadership, you know what I'm saying, push you over. Do not be a pushover. And quickly, guys, before I continue on with this video, I have some weight loss products, the 5 best weight loss products. So the link will be in the description. And if you desire to take care of your health, lose weight, lose fat, cut, you know, stubborn fat, and cut belly fat, I recommend, you know what I'm saying, go and on the website, the 5 best weight loss products, purchase the products. I recommend taking them, and also share the link, you know, with friends, families, frenemies, enemies, whatever. Share it, you know. Next to God, your health is the second best thing you have. We get one life to live, and we have one body, you know what I'm saying? So take care of it. But anyway, back to the video. Okay? All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. So we obviously went through that. No, it's not a mission of guilt. And I'm going to leave a link to this particular you know, article that lays out the different types of. This is an Article 15 fact sheet, and this was provided by the California Army National Guard Trial Defense Service. And so, hey, to my military lawyers out there, I'm not bashing y'all. All right, I'm not bashing y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I got much respect, you know what I'm saying, for you guys. So please don't take it. I'm not bashing you guys. You know, but I'm gonna leave this link so you guys can check this out. You know what I'm saying, yourself, and even for civilian, you know what I'm saying, attorneys that may want to take a look at it, you know what I'm saying, if you haven't already reviewed, you know what I'm saying, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you know what I'm saying, or Article 15, I'll leave a link in there. All right, let's see here. So no, it's not, you know what I'm saying, agreeing that that you did it, okay. Let's see. You're only agreeing to let your commander decide whether you are guilty or not. And if guilty, what punishment should you receive? Okay? If you plead not guilty, your commander must listen to your side of the case. You may present your own case or have a non-lawyer act as your spokesman. You can present witnesses or other evidence, okay, such as statements, police reports, pictures, and diagrams, whatever information you have or evidence on your behalf to help explain your side, you know, of the story. Okay. Now, why should you accept the Article 15 rather than demand trial by court martial? Okay. All right. These are the potential maximum punishments of an Article 15. Obviously, they're much lower than what a court martial, you know, would render. Okay. For example, you cannot be sentenced to confinement under an Article 15 hearing. Okay. Also, even if found guilty at an Article 15 hearing, you still have no federal conviction. As with a court martial conviction, that's federal. Okay. In addition, most Article 15s, okay, especially first time minor offenses, they won't affect your ability to remain in the armed forces. So, if you do get an Article 15, you can still serve in the military. You know, so it doesn't affect that. Whereas a court-martial conviction, it can result in an automatic discharge. either by punitive discharge, given by the court, or an administrative discharge after the court martial. So, that's why I said they raised the stakes on it. Judicial punishment obviously is much more severe. So, but let's move on. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Okay, what are the different types of Article 15s and the maximum punishments? Okay, and here they summarize it. Okay, any company grade commander may administer different types of Article 15s. Military members, right? Okay, who are read a summarized Article 15 are not entitled to consult with a defense attorney. So if you choose to take the Article 15 route, you can't have, defense. But however, with an Article, if you turn down the Article 15 and you demand a trial by court martial, then obviously you have to get legal defense. Okay, now here's the maximum punishment, authorized, for these particular Article 15s, and it goes in any combination. You can receive extra duty for 14 days, restriction, of liberties, for 14 days. You can receive an oral reprimand or admonition, and that's easy. If your commander gives you a good talking to, and admonishes you and say, hey, do you recognize what you did, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let me say this. Obviously, the higher the rank of the commander, the more authority and the more punishment that they can dish out. That they can dish out under an Article 15. Certain officers, a commander is an officer, that is in charge of a unit, battalion, or a squadron, or a fleet, for different, Coast Guard and Navy is going to call it fleet, Army and Marines are going to refer to it as things like, battalion. What is the word I'm looking for? It's oh gosh, I can't. My brain is fogging up right now. Air Force would be squadron. I believe in any branch that they can use. Unit. So, and you have different sizes. Of commands. So, the higher the rank of the officer, the more authority and the more power that they have, to command, certain peoples. But I'm trying to think. That bothers me when I can't, let me see, battalion, battalion, unit. There's another word, oh gosh, another word for it with the Army Marines. But anyway, you guys get the gist. All right. Let's see, company grade officers. Any company grade commander may administer this type of Article 15. The maximum punishment authorized at a company grade Article 15 at this person's level is a combination: extra duty 14 days, restriction of liberty 14 days, oral reprimand or admonition, fine of 7 days base pay, reduction in rank of 1 grade. And that's for E4 and below only. So for you ladies and gentlemen, that's if you have a higher rank where they figure you know better, they can bust you down, and take more rank, from you. All right, field grade commander. A commander in the rank of a major or above may administer this type of Article 15 at the field grade level. Correctional custody, meaning confinement, the brig, or basically, if you want to say military jail. Correctional custody of not more than 30 days. Impose a fine of not more than 15 days per month for 2 months. Extra duties, including fatigue or other duties for not more than 45 consecutive days. Restrictions to certain specific limits, with or without suspension from duty for not more than 60 consecutive days, oral or written reprimand. All right. Let's see here. Oof. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. But yeah, they in this chart they specify. So when you go from, I'm just gonna go with the Army, from sergeant to sergeant major. They can only bust them down 2 pay grades. Sergeant to okay, and sergeant to master sergeant. You know what I'm saying? No more than 2 pay grades. Sergeant to staff sergeant, no more than 2 pay grades. Sergeant, no more than 2 pay grades. And if you got a private second class to a specialist, the lowest pay grade. You know, so basically, pretty much they can bust them down. Let me see, is it? Yeah, they can bust them down to no stripes at all. Okay, and so if you guys want to get, I'll give you the equivalent of what they are in other branches of service. I don't want to go through, be too long for me to go through each rank. Basically, in the Army, let me see, a sergeant major is going to be okay. A sergeant major is basically is an E9. That's what they would be in grade. You know, their rank is a sergeant major, and so a sergeant in the United States Army is going to be the equivalent of an E4. So I just want to be sure. Let me be sure I got this one. Be sure you guys. Let me see. E4 is that. Let me see. Staff sergeant. Staff sergeant in the, is that in the Army? Is that an E? Is that an E6? I think that sergeant may be E5. Okay, E5 all the way up. You know what I'm saying? Going to the grade of an E9. And if they're a command sergeant major, they can only bust them down 2 pay grades. So basically, if they're an E9, they get dropped to an E7. If they're an E5, they get dropped to an E3. You understand what I'm saying? And and that's for any grade from let me see, private specialist. Specialist is E4. E4. I think sergeant in the Army. I think that's E5. I'll have to double check that. But even if it's an E4, you guys get the gist. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 pay grades. That's the authority and power that individual has. And why a pay grade is important? Because that is your money. And so when you get dropped down, you lose power, prestige. You know what I'm saying? You lose the benefits that come with having that rank. And as well, you lose money. And it also it affects your other benefits. I'll give you a good example. If you got for all military, I'm just going to use just some grade. Say if you have an E7 in any branch of service, right? And they get busted down or 2 pay grades. It doesn't only affect what you get taken out of your military paycheck. Let's say if you are living off base, it affects your other pays and benefits that are put into your paycheck that are non-taxable. Good example would be your housing allowance. If the military, for members that reside in off-base housing, they give them a housing allowance that goes into their paycheck either once every 2 weeks or either once a month. You see what I'm saying? And that goes in. That's part of their paycheck, but that is a non-taxable benefit, so that is money. So if you were getting the rate of an E7, but then because you got punished and you got busted down, now you're going to get the rate, of an E5. That is less money in your pocket. And it's the same thing for your separate rations. Your separate rations is a monthly stipend, to buy food and groceries. So it affect everything will be commensurate. You know what I'm saying? It's all in sync. You see what I'm saying? So it all goes down, you know what I'm saying, at once if you get, busted down. And if they want to, can they take away your off-base housing? I mean, they could and house you in the dorms. They could, you know what I'm saying? All right. Let's see. If I'm found guilty of an Article 15, when does the punishment begin? Punishment usually starts immediately. The commander may delay starting punishment under certain circumstances, such as illness, a field exercise, if you're out in the field training and stuff like that, or, if you're on leave or vacation, or if you are AWOL, absent without leave. And you don't want that, because if they got to find you, you're gonna be in big trouble if you go AWOL. All right. What is suspended punishment? Let's see. The commander can suspend any or all punishment for a period not to exceed 6 months. If the punishment is suspended, it does not take effect. That means you are not affected. You, in essence, are on probation for the suspension period, as long as you don't engage in any foolishness or misconduct. And like I said, I'm going to say it again: as long as you don't do anything foolish or stupid, and keep your nose clean. Then the commander, what he or she can choose to do, they can withdraw the Article 15. And boom, suspended, and your record will be clean, and you can move on. In your military career. All right. Let's see. Can I appeal? Can you appeal the decision your commander makes at an Article 15 proceeding? If you're found guilty during the Article 15 hearing, you do, as again I said, know your rights. You have a right to appeal the Article 15 at the next higher level. Basically, your commander's boss. And so if you feel that it's not right, be like, hey, I don't feel I deserve this, then you take it above his head. So everybody's got somebody that they have to answer to. But let me say this, and those that are serving in the military that have been in, they can attest to this. Many cases, officers are going to side with officers, or leadership a lot of times, unless it's an extreme case. Most of the time they tend to side, with leadership. So if you, basically they may view it as you bucking against your commander's authority, and so you take it to his boss, unless it's something that you can absolutely prove that he's wrong on. Normally, his boss is going to side with his officer. He's going to side with him, and you just basically going to have to take that L. But I'm not saying that so that you can quit or give up. If any of you happen to come and you have to run into some problems like that, if you think you got a legitimate case, then stand your ground. Because once you choose the Article 15, at least it's non-judicial punishment. So you will live to see and serve and fight another day. So it's not the end of the world. Article 15 is not the end of the world. There are people that have gotten Article 15s and they were still able to make E9 and still, go on and excel in their military career. So it's not the end of the world, guys. It may be a temporary setback, but you can get through it, All right. Let's see. As far as the appeal process, see, this right here is for the Army, but each branch of service, has their, so it's going to be similar. So they say, how do you appeal? Okay, you appeal by checking the appropriate block on line 7 of this right here is for the Army, so it's Department of the Army. It'll be the same thing for the Navy. Coast Guard will be Department of Transportation. Air Force will be the Department of, it's the same thing. And you basically fill out, line 7, to appeal it, and you may win, if you don't win, hey, you can take, you take the punishment and, hey, whatever, you just move on, and you get through it and just learn from it, and eventually it will fall off your record, so long as you do well in the military. All right. If found guilty of an Article 15 hearing, let's see, will it be filed in my military records? All right. Finding of guilty in an Article 15 will be filed in your military records. However, the rules vary depending on your rank. Okay. If you're in the grade of E4 and below, the Article 15 will be filed locally in non-judicial punishment files. The Article 15 will be destroyed after 2 years from the date it was imposed. So it does fall off your record, okay? If you are in the grade of E6 or above, if you are in the grade of E5 and above, okay, the imposing commander will determine whether the Article 15 will be filed in either the restricted or performance, fish of your official military personnel file, OMPF, okay? Article 15 filed in your OMPF will likely have adverse effects on your future military career. Consult the Trial Defense Service Military Counsel for more details regarding the career ramifications of this important filing determination. So, anyway. Let's see. Where can I get additional information about Article 15s? All right. The Article 15 process is in detail in Part 5 of the Manual for Court Martial, and in Chapter 3, this is Army Regulation 27-10. Each branch of service has, their specific regulations. So if this says Army Regulation 27-10, basically just use common sense. You can go and find it, what the regulation is for the Air Force. It'll be AFR, blah, 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 such and such regulation for the Navy, Marines, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They'll have their regulation, Coast Guard, Department, of DOT transfer. So it's the same thing. It's just going to have each branch of service, acronym on it. That's all, But Article 15 is not the end of the world. But nevertheless, guys, you do not, want to get them. Like I said, stay out of trouble in the military. It's too much of a headache, guys, and ladies. It's just not worth it, Honestly, it's not worth it. You go in the military, keep your head, keep your head, sometimes, like anything else, they may get on your nerves, but overall, as a whole, I would say the military can be, especially in peacetime, it can be one of the easiest jobs that you've ever had. When the ops tempo, depending on what assignment you get, if you got a high ops tempo, you're going to have to put in work, But if you get certain assignments, or sometimes you have a lot of downtime, So, you're getting paid, at least twice a month or once a month, whichever you elect, You got different benefits, medical, dental, then plus other different types of pays. And then if you're in certain career fields, you're going to get bonuses and other special pays and incentives, So in peacetime, for the most part, you're going to do your physical fitness. It's a 9 to 5, or really, in the military, you say a 9 to 10 hour day, doing peacetime and at, most bases, generally speaking. It's just a very, it's routine. It's smooth, keep your nose clean and just do your job and, obey your orders. And just, like I said, stay out of trouble. And, it's a smooth ride, man. You can travel. You get, you got thrift savings plan. Plus, you got military retirement at 20 years. And you can go further, than that. Depending on your rank. It offers education. I mean, come on, man. You can't beat it. Free fitness centers. Then, you got, you have support networks. So, but anyway, I'm going to get off that, But this right here, guys, the name of my channel is Eric Broadus YouTube. That's EricBroadus YouTube. Or EricBroadusYouTube.com. So, smash the bell, to become a subscriber, and smash that bell. Turn on all notifications, and hit the like button to like the video. Hit the unlike button if you don't like it. Either way, leave a comment. Love the dialogue with you. And maybe you have, information that you would like to share, in the comment section, Everyone has a right to their opinion, has a right to be heard. And I don't know everything, So maybe some of you may have more knowledge than I do, And also I have my Snacks 123 channel on Rumble, SNAKZ 123 on Rumble. So please subscribe to me in Rumble. Hit the like button if you like the videos. You don't like it, hit the unlike button. Either way, leave a comment. Love the dialogue with you. And likewise, if you have information you'd like to contribute, to this topic and share with the audience, feel free. Feel free. Also, I have a podcast, Snack Thoughts, SNAKZ THOUGHTS, Snack Thoughts. You can find my podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, Radio PBM, SoundCloud, iHeart Radio, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and a host of other social media outlets. So please join Snack Thoughts. And lastly, the 5 best weight loss products. Link will be in the description. You know what I'm saying? Get the products. I recommend it, you know. Like I said, next God, the next best thing you have is your health. Take care of it. But that's all I have on this one, guys. And share it. Please, share it. You know, share these websites, you know what I'm saying? My podcast, YouTube channel, Snacks 123 on Rumble. Share it with friends, family, frenemies, enemies, rats, dogs, bats, goats, cats, whatever. Share it, push it out. All right, guys? That's all I have, and I'll be back with some more. You know, so I have some more military content, and I will have some content coming for my Snacks Thoughts podcast. Thank you guys to all my subscribers, to all you guys. YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, I appreciate my Snacks Thoughts podcast. I appreciate all you guys. Peace out. Catch you on the next one later.